Welcome everybody to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm going solo dolo today, but my brother Damon and Jaquari Armstrong have prior engagements. They're being stars somewhere else. Welcome to today's edition. Um, what we try to do when it comes to this is be consistent. So in the future, we may go on a Saturday. Try that out for side. I've been asked by other folks, well, why you go on a Friday? We got things to do on a Friday. I'm like, well, before I got married, and I did a couple things when my Friday was the late night. I got off of work, I chilled at the house, and then I hit the streets at later around 10, 11 o'clock. That was my single vibe. So that's kind of why we chose a Friday, because that's the day of the weekend where folks are home. It might differ from region to region. I'm not sure, but all it is, this is a guesstimate on what we're trying to do and who we're trying to reach. We're trying to reach the people who hear us. We're trying to reach the people who love conversation. We're trying to reach the people who want to be heard. So we'll be experimenting a little bit in the future as far as what days we come on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. We know mostly everyone works on a weekend. A week during the week. So it'd be very rare if we did anything during the week. But as I said, I'm going solo dolo tonight. And I'm Keith Armstrong, a little bit of housekeeping. This is a Strong Perspective Podcast. You see us screaming across the bottom. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe. Get our numbers up so we can reach a larger crowd of folks. I think you have to excuse me because it feels funny without having my other host here. We've been together since the beginning. So just to do it alone, I basically got to get my feet wet. What I'll be doing is just covering a couple subjects. I contacted folks throughout the week and asked them different things. Asked them if they would like for us to address anything on the episodes, so just send me your questions or what you would like to hear. I got a couple things, and I'm going to try to address them tonight and give my opinion. Hopefully, if you tune in, please comment in the comment section. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm solo, so it'll be good to have some company if possible. If not, hell, you're going to hear me speak. You're going to hear me comment. You're going to hear me do what I do. Okay. Let me just begin by saying that my personal journey into podcasting was really kind of a whim. It was more or less the kind of deal where I talked about it with a good friend of mine, Demetrius Gore. And he and I will always talk to each other through the pandemic. Well, over the years, that was my best friend, other than my two brothers. We talked to each other over the years, and I told him that, you know what, we both should do a podcast. And he said, well, that's because he had his own business at the time. So he said, I don't think I have time for it, but let me send you this link where you could do an audio podcast through your phone. And He sent it to me, and I never opened it up, and years later, as I was scrolling through my phone and reminiscing, because like I said, my man, he passed away. God bless his soul. I was scrolling through the phone and I found his text, and I was reading through the different texts over the years, and then I found the link, and I was like, you know what? I'm being retired since 2019. I said, you know what? Let me venture into this. So I talked to my brothers, and what I was doing was asking them, well, look, guys, y'all want to come on board with me? I have no experience, but I just want to spend some time with you. And also, I think you two guys have a lot to say. So that's when our journey started. So I just wanted to give you a little background on things, right? So today, I want to talk about legacy. Legacy in our community. And also, another couple topics, what's the making of a father? What how did we get the blueprint? How did we get the blueprint in making a father? Who taught who to give us the basics on being a father? And better yet, in the same breath, the basics of being a mother, you know, because it had to be taught, because there are good here, mediocre fathers, bad fathers. So later on I want to talk about that. And then the third topic is, why does it seem like there's separation? I'm talking about our community now. Why does it seem like there's separation between men and women in our community? Why does it feel like an adversarial relationship? Why does it feel that we jump to that adversarial relationship automatically? We look for a person to say the wrong thing. But I'll cover that. But let me just begin by letting you know how I came up with the topic of legacy. My cousin Stacy, he and his good friend Dion Brooks were having a conversation about legacy. I don't know what got him to the actual subject, but when they brought me in on the when they connected me on the phone with them, the two separate spectrums of it. Because in my limited knowledge of legacy, and I say limited, but it's only a couple things that I stand true on as far as the definition of it that feels good to me, is the material legacy, right? Number one, material meaning um, leaving something to your children, property, money, um, businesses, and so that material thing, that legacy, to put your name on it, or just you know, granddad left this for the many generations. And then the other definition of legacy to me is what that parent or those parents taught you how to succeed, in life, from their example and from how they educated you, how to move on the job place, on the job site, how to move as far as when you go to college and being upwardly mobile, or a business, business. You know what I'm saying? Where, a family-owned business, be it anything, from accounting all the way down to mom and pop stores, in which they leave it, farms, different things like that, they leave it to their kids, right? So getting back to the second part of it, is raising your kids until they're at least 18 to 19 years old. If they don't go to college, they get their first job, and you let them stay at your home until they save enough to move on to an apartment, or teach them how to conduct themselves out in the world. Introduce them to, if you have a place that you've been in for years and you have high standards, get them their first job at this place. But teaching them a work ethic, teaching them how to be good human beings, how to be dependable, how to be everything they need to be successful on their job site. That's a legacy thing, and they were talking about this, and it was funny. And this is no indictment to the two of them. They were at odds. And I thought, well, why are you at odds? Because you're in the same, you might be at different parts of the paragraph, but you're in the same paragraph. One, no matter, pick either one is a subsection of the other, meaning that they go together. They go together. But if you ever notice our community, and this is just my opinion about it, does it feel like in our community, when it comes to legacy, we only concentrate on the material. And it seems as though if we don't have anything materially, not that we failed, but we fell behind the 8 ball because we haven't fully, quote unquote, provided a legacy for our children. And I want to dispute that a little bit, because I think they both, like I said, they both go hand in hand. And the reason why I say they go hand in hand, because you got to think about it. If you choose one side, it feels to me like you're being conditioned to think that way. And I'm not talking about there's some conspiracy to keep the black man down and all of this. No, it's that fallacy when they talk about the American dream. People think I'm crazy when I tell them I really, really didn't believe in the American dream, because it's really unrealistic. Because if you go into the dictionary or Google it and you ask the definition of American dream, tell me if that's realistic. Tell me if that's realistic. As a matter of fact, let me see, because I don't want to be out here looking like a damn fool, right? Definition of American dream.
Here's the definition of the American dream. The ideal by which equality of opportunity is available to any American, allowing the highest aspirations and goals to be achieved.
So if you didn't hear that, it says the ideal by which equality of opportunity is available to any American, allowing the highest aspirations and goals to be achieved. Now, I'm going to let that sink in, that definition. I'm going to read it one more time. The ideal by which equality of opportunity is available to any American, allowing the highest aspirations and goals to be achieved. You see, that makes me think, when I say it's not realistic, because everyone is not Everybody don't have the same opportunities. I used to get in heated discussions with my coworkers when they say, you know, when they want to be clever and racist at the same time. When we talk about the 2%, I say 2%. I don't know what percentage it is, but it's low. The 2% of, I'm a retired law enforcement officer. The 2% of the criminals that we deal with, repeat offenders now, they will say to me, Strong, why do you think they're doing that when they have the same opportunity as everybody else? Let me repeat that to you. Why do you think they still choose crime when they have the same opportunity as everyone else? You know it's a loaded question, first and foremost. Because I used to shoot back when I was immature. I used to shoot back and say, why would you say that when white people invented crime? That was immaturity. You know what I mean? Being defensive, right? Because see, me personally, even though I grew up around men and women, a small percentage of men and women who chose to be criminals in their lives, right? I grew up around that. But I was able to see that there was the vast majority of people who choose to go to work, not break the law. So I saw that as a minority. But when these guys get in it, these guys get in these discussions with me, when they got in these discussions with me, they look at it as a whole. So now I'm on the defense. Because how dare you? Now, I'm going to get back to legacy now. I just want to address this. How dare you group us all in one when you've not even met everyone? You only met the small percentage of criminals that live on this street, that come to this street in this particular neighborhood. Not the whole neighborhood, but this particular street, these particular blocks. Now, I'm being realistic when I say this. You see what I'm saying? So, getting in these kind of discussions, it made me start to realize that, you know, sometimes we're conditioned to think a certain way. It's not a vast conspiracy. I think it's the easiest way to look at somebody and demonize somebody that you don't know because it's safer for you, right? So getting back to the equal opportunity, and that's why I wanted to link to the legacy. It's not an equal opportunity because the majority of our community, we are working jobs to keep a roof over our head, keep our families fed, and to, you know, just the little things in life. We're in a constant grind. Now, those of us who've been blessed enough to buy property or own their own, right? They're a little more educated. They have more access to lawyers and accountants that steer them towards these different things if they have extra money. College educated people, businessmen, you know what I'm saying? Just the whole variety. The more money you make on your job, right? The more access you have to everything. So my thing is the folks that make more money in our community have more access to link a material legacy. A material legacy. You see? Because just like I said, they're linked to lawyers, accountants, financial people, all these people that have helped them to put it together and go from there. Now, folks who grinding, who have a little bit of money, but to me, I always tell people all the time, I feel our community, this is me personally, I feel our community is in survival mode. What's survival mode? Is you going to work, keeping your head down, saving your money, and just spending it on you and your family. Going to work, not wanting to invest in other businesses, right? When you got folks like, hey man, let's get together because of the distrust, right? So I kind of see when it comes to the material legacy, leaving something to your children and all that has to do with how much you make a year. It's not based solely on how much you make a year, as far as having excess money and all this, because you could do it, on a lower income also, but you need the information, you need to hear it. You need to hear people say these things, and then you need to believe in it and find access to it and go a little at a time. So that to me, that's my material legacy is concerned. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to get into detail because I wish I was a financial genius because I would make everyone rich. Would nobody starve? Everybody would have passive income in which they would never have to worry about paying a bill unless they deliberately don't pay the bill. Now, you might think, I'm veering a little off here, but you might think that's unrealistic. You know why you think it's unrealistic? That everybody can do it and have it is because that's what we're conditioned to think. In my mind, we have to have a poor in order for these elites that has money, in order for them to and I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but there has to be a poor for people to feel like there's value in money. But if I tell you, and not being able to give you details, but if I tell you that there is enough land in this world that nobody can go homeless, there's enough fertile land that nobody could starve, there's enough fertile land that everybody can be employed if they want to, you might think I'm crazy. You want to know why? Because you always are being told indirectly there has to be a poor. There has to be people. Let that sink in. Think about this earth. Think about the United States of America. The Great Plains, the West, the Western states, the Great Plains states. Hell, Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, the Glove, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia. There's so much land. I veered off a little bit, but I need you to understand this. People might think that's radical thinking. You may think it's radical thinking because you believe in there's got to be poor, there's got to be rich for this country to thrive. No, the elite need to be elite because it's about power. All right. I veered away a little bit just going that soapbox, but I believe the more money you make, the more access you have to create a legacy for your family. The more freedom you have to create a legacy for your family. Now, the legacy that me and my brothers received from my parents is the physical and emotional and spiritual legacy. I'll tell you that my mother and father, now, my father passed away and we did not receive any material legacy from him. No insurance. My daddy had no insurance. Right? I learned from that. When my mom passed away, she learned from when my dad passed away prior to her to get insurance. And she told me that was, she wanted to leave her sons that. Her insurance and everything else that she had. So when it came to my mother and father, they taught us the spiritual and emotional. They gave us spiritual and emotional legacy that kept us going, but also talked about leaving something for our children. If it's possible, do that for your children, your grandchildren, and beyond, if you're blessed enough to do so. That's the legacy that I was saturated with. Where I can look a man and a woman in their eyes and build and feel confident of who I am and what kind of person I am and what kind of human being I am. Going to work every day, even if I'm working for somebody, going to work every day and being dependable and being being the best worker, one of the best workers on that job. Looking to be promoted within, right, while I'm there. But from example of my mother and father, I showed up and I showed out. That's them. Me showing up every day, not being sick, not doing, you know what I'm saying? And putting in a high level of work. Because of them, I saw them do this. That's the legacy I received from them. See, it's a shame I'm on this live, and it's a shame I don't have more people on here, because what I'm doing for you is I'm giving you something that I see. Something from me. Whether you want it or not, I'm giving you something. This is what's needed when it comes to, I'm not blustering. I'm not telling you what you're doing wrong. I'm not doing anything but giving you a part of who I am. It's the art of conversation. And everyone who's ever had conversation with me understands exactly what I'm talking about. You are to be heard, and you are to be listened to. See, that's the key to it all. I do this podcast not to change things, not to change, movement, because I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge to change your mind, but what I can do is plant the seed, the God-given seed, to say, hey, this might be a different way of thinking. Or, man, I was thinking just like that. But it's the legacy. Do yourself a favor. When you see this, if you take the time to really look into this episode, check it out. Then go in and get your own definition of legacy, right? Get your own definition of legacy, right? And figure out what you're doing for your family. So let me do this. Definition of legacy.
Here's the definition of legacy: an amount of money or property left to someone in a will.
Now, if you didn't hear that, Google's definition of legacy is this, and you might find this entertaining. It says the amount of money or property left to someone in a will, right? And then the second definition is the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, and etc. that took place in the past or in a person's life. The long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc. that took place in the past or of a person's life. So that moment I looked up. I never looked up the definition of it, but earlier, did I not give you exactly what it is? The first definition is what everyone pays attention to. But see, I'm a person who likes to read past the answer to get a greater context. And the second definition gave me that context. And guess what? They are under legacy. Meaning, you will not, if you're able to leave the material and the money, that's fine. But would you be cheating yourself if you didn't leave the other part, the personal part, the teaching, the guiding? That's all. I hate the fact, and I'm a competitor, and I got a large ego. And it's funny, I'm consistent every Friday. I'm on here. Me and my brothers are on here every Friday, right? And I want people to tune in so they can be heard. This is not about me. This is why I don't allow myself to get angry, because doing this podcast is fun for me, because I get to talk, right? I get to talk. But as I said, I got a gigantic ego, and I'm a competitor. But some things you do, that stuff needs to be excluded from. I was talking to my brothers and Damon and Jaquari, and they said, man, we need to go viral, man. We need to go viral. We need to do something that go viral and all of this, right? And I looked at them, I said, hey, man, as many episodes, we're coming close to 100, as many episodes that we've done, we said some things that could have gone viral. It's just the folks are not looking at them. They're not looking at them and they're not reposting them. You see what I'm saying? Now, on my end, I got to figure out a better way to get it to the masses, to bring people in if I can. But luckily, it's not my motivation. It's not even close. All right, well, look, I'm on fumes when it comes to legacy, because just like I said, I want to leave my sons and my grandchildren and great grandchildren a legacy, and I'm always trying and figure it out and going right. But I don't forget to give them me. I won't forget to give them me. All right, a little bit of house cleaning. This is a Strong Perspective podcast, right? Make sure you go to our YouTube channel by the same name. Like, share, and subscribe. Share our channel. Send our channel to our episodes to folks that that you like, and the episodes that you thought we did a great job in, because we are being consistent in what it is. You see, this is not no self. What's it? This is not talking bad about myself. So I know I have charisma and charm, but I would have to try to force it out so it don't feel natural to me. This is why I got two co-hosts who have it. And I really want them to be happy with what's going on our podcast. I want them to be happy. I'm already happy. I'm satisfied. I want them to be happy. All right. So somebody sent something to me, and they were talking about, they asked me what, the question they volunteered was, what does it mean to be a father? And I think we kind of addressed that before. So I wanted to change it up a little bit. How is a father? What is the making of a father? How did we come to the specific rules, or do we have specific rules on what a good father is? Those rules. So I'll give you my opinion about it. I think fatherhood, I'm talking about back when it was being invented, fatherhood was, and look, if you see this, you can add a comment on what your opinion of it is. Fatherhood was based on pain. Based on pain from whether it was the beginning or toward the beginning of fathers. It was based on pain of that son and that daughter, on what their father gave them or didn't give them. Because if you want to look at the basic of being a father is, you are the head of your household and you make all the major decisions, and your decisions are not to be denied. Think about it. The basics of being a father that I see is, you are the main decision maker. And you are to go out, you are the hunter and the forger and the hunter, to bring back the sustenance. And once you're there, you are to be exalted as the main breadwinner. and you make the final decision in your home. That's what I see the old school of being a father. And I feel like it came from pain, where early on, a child was like, yo, I love this man, but he don't give me what I want. He don't treat me the same way as he treat my older brother or my youngest brother. I got to come up with a rule when it's time for me to raise my kids. I'm going to be different. I'm going to do things different. But I'm going to keep some of the things because I'm still the head of my house. I'm still the governor of how my family moves. I still do that. But what is right? How is a father supposed to be? Because the first definitions, the couple of definitions I gave you were kind of bland, kind of generic, and there's no room for interpretation, right? A father is not to be questioned by the child. The child is supposed to do everything that the father tells them to do, or they're deemed an unworthy child. This is the old school shit. Your child is not a free thinker. Your child is to do what you're supposed to do. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. Just throwing it out there to see what you think is. Is it going to spark some kind of conversation? When your father doesn't display that take charge alpha male mentality, should he be respected by the mother and the children because he's quiet? See, that's where it goes to. Where did the definitions come from? Because you're meek and you're not an arguer and you're not quick to violence, does that mean that you're not a good father? Understand, I'm doing this from the basics of it, not and coming back toward the more modern version of it. See, my dad was the decision maker. But the one thing about it is I saw him include my mother in the conversation in front of us. And my mother deferred to him when it was the final decision, but she made her thoughts clear because she was a strong person too. And I ask again, where do we get the outline from being a father? Of course, we want our father coming back toward the modern. Of course, we want our father to be loving towards us, men and women, loving towards us. Of course, we want our father to communicate with us, not ignore us. Yes, that's there. That is highly important coming from the modern, because I'm 59. So generations just 1 or 2 generations from when I was born, the father was feared. The father, if you thought that you can come in there and get the biggest piece of chicken, or if your dad is in the house after work and the dinner is done, you think you can eat before him if he did not set those rules? Oh, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem from your mother, because your mother respected your father enough, because even if your mom worked, he is the head of the household and he deserved the respect to be that. That's how I was raised. But where did we get? Let's throw the mom in here. Where did we get the blueprint of being a mother and a father? Where did we get it from? I think part of the blueprint when it comes to a father is from pain. And I said part of it. And then when it comes to the mom, it comes from nurturing. But there's so many layers to being a father and a mother. So many layers. So what is it? How do we make a father? Is my question. Has nothing to do with laying down with the woman, planting your seed. She has your baby. Fatherhood has, to me, and I'll give you my definition, part of it, because it's ever evolving. I have the foundation, the father being the head of the household, right? The mother is in full support of the father. She is a decision maker, too. But the father is the final decision maker when you have them both in there, unless he defers it, right? The father teaches his children and work ethic. And the mother does it indirectly if she has a job. She goes to work, then she comes home and she provides dinner for the family. Fathers are in charge of home training, teaching their children how to go out in this world to act. I'm old enough and young enough to know what home training means. Home training means to help your kid navigate so they will not be harmed in the days and times that I grew up in. When white supremacy may have been still overt and hostile towards black men, where we couldn't even walk the streets without being suspected. So the father provided home training on how to conduct yourself in the streets, walking to the store. Because the father will not allow you to be hanging on the corner with the fellas. Because he understood what could come of that, even though we tried to be defiant. So where did the blueprint of being come from? Some people might say, well, it came from God. No, God is our supreme. He is our creator. And he gave us choice. Fathers don't give you choice. Mothers don't give you choices. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. You under their roof and your children, you're going to follow the blueprint to prepare you to go out those doors. Prepare you to go out those doors. So the creator, he said, hey, my child, he called you my child. That's because man wrote it. But just for context, my child, you have a choice to love me. It is your responsibility to love me because I'm going to get you on the back end if you choose not to. I'm just speaking retrospectively, but I'll get you on the back end. A father and a mother's like, yo, get your dirty ass in that shower. But why? Because I said so. There is no democracy in a good parental home. If you invite democracy in a parental home with juveniles, you invite divisiveness. You do. That's my opinion. So I addressed that question. Thank you for it. Now, to bring this on home, I got a third question. This person asked me, in our community, is there separation between men and women? In our community, is there separation between men and women? Let me alter that a little bit. In our community, why does it seem as though there's separation in our community between men and women? Is it because of what we see in social media? Men ain't shit. Fuck the passport bros. Fuck the sack chasing females. I'm thinking young now. Because I feel sorry for these young men and women now because they are so like locked in on this dumb shit. Right? But is there separation? And this is a subject that I'm not going to walk on eggshells with. You want to know why? Because when somebody attacks women, when somebody attacks men, when it comes to this subject, you are attacking these folks from a personal point of view, in my opinion. You're not attacking them from a realistic point of view because every man can't be not shit. Every woman cannot be a gold digging something or other. That is not possible. So I say to you, there is no separation between men and women in our community. None. But why would we continue to make it seem that way? I don't know. I'm amazed by it. Not because I'm looking down on it and saying you don't know no better, you dummies and all this. No, I'm amazed by it because I look at, if I just look at my television and social media and the entertainment shit, then I would believe that trash. Of course, it might be a problem with single parents, man. Yes, it's a problem because our population grew and we started to feed into it because my opinion, we started to believe in that trash that was started in the 70s. What started in the 70s? Black men don't stay with their family. So it's been pumped in our minds so much that that's our majority that we're working with. So much that in these days and time, it's larger than it should be. That's how I feel. Of course, debate me. I don't give a shit. I'm telling you how I feel about it. Where I'm looking at the small window that I see every day, and I see a vast amount of men and women together than not together. Now, there is an issue with it, far as single moms and single fathers. There's an issue because we have to, I guess, lack of a better way of putting it, we have to be careful of who we are with. If we really and truly can't stand that person, we have to see it. It can't be cosmetic. You know what I'm saying? It can't be, oh man, he fine. Oh man, she fine. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be what? You have to be more cognizant, I don't know. You have to be more careful on who you're with. To be honest with you. And this is nobody telling you I know better and all this. No, it's not even close to that. So don't, if you're getting in it, if you see this in the future and you're getting in a tizzy about it, I feel bad because it's not about that. I'm not trying to pass judgment on you. What I want everyone to do is really and truly see who we are. To break through the stereotype. Yeah, there are single mothers, but is that a bad thing? I wish the single sisters did find that person that they feel secure with and be happy. I wish nothing but happiness, right? But why do we identify or allow ourselves to be identified in our minority? When it comes to criminality, when it comes to single mothers, single fathers, why is that our whole? Asking you a question. Now, getting back to the third question, I feel sorry for the younger generation because all they see is these internet folks who are trying to make a living by throwing the most extra bullshit out there so people can click onto it, so they can make money. Like the young lady with the Applebee's? No, cheesecake. That was a fucking skit, man. It was a skit, and we fell for it. We always do. You know why? Because our community, in my opinion, we want to be entertained. So we want to believe it. So that's why I think we always living in celebrity lives, whether it's sports celebrities, singers, actors, whatever. We always caught up in their lives of what they're doing. When the one brother came on there, me and Will, we've been best friends our whole life. Then the next breath, he talking about Will getting his back blown out. What kind of bullshit is that, man? But let's get back to the third question. You know, I'm wondering a little bit because I have a lot to say because I got to get it off my chest. But why is it an adversarial relationship between black men and women now? Can somebody please answer that for me? Why is it an adversarial relationship when we are going through the same thing? You know, what's the phrase? Black women are the most unprotected on the planet. Damn. What about black men? We are there together. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, oh man, black men is going through it more than black women. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we are hand in hand getting our ass kicked together, but we are splitting apart within our trauma. And we're weakening our already weakening stance. Think about that. We are being American black folks are getting beat down. Our employment, the shit we got to go through, is together. Why are we separating within that fucked up trauma when we should be coming together? This is something on my mind because I said this earlier. I wish the hell I was a guru. I wish the hell that I can make a decision about something and it be perfectly true. And then to change it all. No, I just have my opinion. I just have my opinion about what I see in my small world. That's it. I wish I had people, hundreds and hundreds of people on this live right now. I wish my comment section was blowing up with other people's statements on how they feel and how this and how's that. But guess what? I have nothing. But all I can do and all I will do is provide a opportunity for conversation. That's it. That's it. So I'm going to put it out there again. I don't think there's any separation between black men and black women. We are going through the same trauma at the same time. And I don't understand why we were separated. Now, I'm speaking in general now. I don't understand why we were separated. Why would we separate from each other? To get what? To get more pats on the head? Woo-woos? Because what I would love, the fact that we recognize it and we galvanize. Boom. Galvanize it. Make ourselves whole. Then there will be conversations that are healthier because there's a unification. But we're reeling. We're reeling. Am I saying we're being attacked? No, in my opinion, we're being neglected and we're attacking each other. See, the phrase crabs in the barrel. I don't know if this is true or not, but they say when you go further into that saying, a part of it, I'm paraphrasing, a part of it is they pulling each other down. But as soon as one is lucky enough to hook on the top, he holds on and allows everybody to climb up out of there. This was what I was told. Now, think about it. Have we ever, and I'm just throwing it out there, right? Have we ever explored the full saying, or did we just take part of it? Or, like crabs in the barrel, is that the full meaning of it? Pulling each other down. Or is it that as soon as the one hook on the top with his claw, he don't climb out. He holds on as everybody else climbs out over him. Something to think about. Something to think about. I said it, I keep repeating it. No, I don't think there is a division between black men and black women. But I see that we act like it is, and we will attack each other. We will attack each other. So we get a steady diet of entertainment, meaning with our smartphones, we'll click on it and we have social media sites that we look at and scroll through. We all do it. We got games that we play, sports sites, everything. We got some of everything in this handheld computer, right? How much of it is mentally and emotionally healthy for you? For the sake of sounding hypocritical, how much is it? How much of having these devices are mentally and emotionally healthy for you? Now, you might pull up a site that has Bible verses on it, or a site that talks about self-help and love, a site that has spiritual meaning. a motivational site. But also, guys, you got sites where you got ass jigglings and titties bouncing. Young ladies, you got sites where, the model men got their clothes, they looking sharp. You know what I mean? You're looking at each other's Instagrams, looking at what other women are wearing. I'm not mad at the fact that folks have found a way to make a living off social media. I think what's discouraging is how we see the public sway their opinions. From here, oh, that's the victim. And then somebody says something that makes sense. Oh man, wait a minute. That's the evil villain right there. I'll give you an example. Jada Smith is and this is on the entertainment side, because I'm getting ready to close this down. Jada Smith is on her book tour, right? And she promoting her book. And a lot of people like, man, forget Jada. She ain't nothing. She don't have no talent. She did Will wrong. She did this. She did that. She evil, right? Well, being in law enforcement for 30 years, I've learned how to listen to people and pay attention to what people are doing, right? So I'm gonna plant this seed just for fun. What if Jada was right? What if Jada is telling the truth? And you found out Jada was telling the truth. Would you change your opinion about Will? Because people are looking at Will as a simp. I'm looking at Will, and this is for fun. I'm looking at Will as an evil genius, right? Because Jada said, and I'm breaking this down. This is a law enforcement vibe. Let me break this down real quick. I follow Will. I've been following Will for like 3-4 years because I like the way he had this measured speech. And I always thought he was intelligent. But the way he explains it to you, he enunciates every word. And when people do that, they want to convince you of something that may or may not be true, but mostly not true. When they want you to hear every word and they look you straight, seems like looking you straight in your eye, right? Well, I follow Will because I think he's a great actor, right? Great dramatic actor, but also he's funny. Will went through, this is years ago, like 2-3 years ago, he went through a little crisis where he went to some little island country or whatever, and he hopped on Facebook and IG, and he started his whole thing where he was jumping out of balloons, he was doing all these different things, right? At first, I thought he was on side of a movie, right? No, but then it kind of realized that no, this is him traveling the world doing these things, and he kind of admitted when they started bringing it in, Jada, especially when his book came out, that they had separated, right? Now, he didn't say specifically where they separated, but they had separated, right? Now, bring in the August Alsina thing. Nobody would have known shit unless Alsina wouldn't have been pee-whipped in his feelings, right? And selling the album. Nobody wouldn't have known that him and Jada had a thing, right? Will was mysteriously silent. Now look, you can hit me with the chronological order if you want to. I'm throwing this out here for fun. He was strangely silent when all this was going on. His publicist was throwing it out there. He never said shit. It was his publicist. Oh, that ain't true, blah, 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 right? I was sitting like, yo, me and Will had a talk. Me and Will, we talked about it, man to man. He said it. Will didn't deny it, right? And he kind of alluded that he was out of the house at that time. Now, the fucked up thing about with Jada is August was their son's friend. I think that's fucked up. I think that's real fucked up, to be honest with you. If she's guilty of anything, I think that's fucked up. But now we went through the whole scenario with the red table? The red table, the whole nine, her appearing on there and all that, right? Now, Jada, this is when they started spark, that thing started sparking my mind. Jada said, hey, we've been separated since 2016. Now, that's around the time that August said that he was manhandling the cougar, throwing it across the room and all that, right? With his little sickly self. So, wait a minute. Everybody like, yo, you did that to Will. You messed up, right? Is it messed up if they were separated? It's fucked up that that's fucked up. But it's fucked up towards Will if he was out of the house and he left? He left. And I think it was before August. Now, I might be wrong, but this is kind of where, you know what I mean? I'm like I said, I'm having fun with it. So Jada said they were separated then. So what made it worse was, we was like, well, yo, how you gonna bring him on Red Table Talk and embarrass that man like that? I was one of the few that said the same thing. Not one of the many that said the same thing, right? So Jada being on her book tour said, yo, he ambushed it. Will ambushed it. She said, I was getting ready to come on. Just like I said, what if Jada's telling the truth? I was getting ready to come on and say that we were separated at the time with me and August. This is what Jada said in her interview, her recent interview. But Will said, hey, I want to come on. He showed up that day and said, hey, I want to come on. Right? And Jada was like, yo. So when we were talking, Will was like, when you cheated, we all saw the red table joint, right? When you cheated, and you saw the look on Jada's face. Now, this is all speculation right here, but you see the look on her face, like, what the fuck is you talking about? That's when the entanglement came on. The entanglement came on. We were entangled because she did not want to embarrass him. She's embarrassed him enough. Talking about Tupac all the fucking time. But she didn't want to embarrass him. This is what she said. She said, I was shocked when he kept pressing. So I gave him that answer because I didn't want to embarrass him. Now let's move to the Oscars, right? What did Jada say? Everybody knows what Jada said. Jada said, when he did what he did, and he said, keep my wife's name out of, she said she was shocked. And look at her body language. This is all speculation, people. Look at her body language and look at her face. Jada said when he said that, she was like, what? Married? This is the first I heard of that, because they've been separated since 2016. Now, for fun, that's piecing it together. And just like I said, I might be wrong, but I did ask the question, what if she's right? How would you look at Will if you know Jada was right? Will is a fantastic actor. Will is a fantastic. I'm a fan of his. Not action pack actor, but dramatic actor. Hell of an actor. What if it's been an act the whole time so he can save his career? Save the persona. I just wanted to leave y'all with that. I hope you folks are entertained by this last hour and 21 minutes, because I had to hold it down for a Friday. Had to hold it down because we're consistent. But like, as I said, we're going to be looking at different days. Saturday. I like a Saturday, like in the afternoon. We'll hold it down. And we'll see. Housekeeping. Please tune in, go to Strong Perspective Podcast on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe for us, folks, so we can reach more people. And to be honest with you, this solo thing, I like it, but I miss the bros. Because we're a lethal combination. Hey, they got more charisma than me. Guess what? I'm straightforward, and I'm more believable. But this is a Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Keith Armstrong. Make sure you tune in next week. It may be a Saturday. Just stay tuned. But Damon, Jaquari, we'll see you next week, brothers. All right. Good night to you.